Happy morning, children. Once again, I welcome you all for this online class. And today we are moving into a new lesson of history, lesson 2. And the title of our lesson is Post Mauryan India. So, in this lesson, we are going to study about the histories of dynasties and kingdoms that emerged after the breakup of the Mauryan Empire. So, last term we studied about the Mauryan Empire. It covered the whole part of India. We studied about the great kings Ashoka, Chandragupta Maurya, isn't it? So, from that period, we are continuing in today's lesson. Okay, so that huge empire, the large empire of Ashoka, after the death of King Ashoka, it slowly became weaker and weaker. Okay, and finally, the last Mauryan king was killed and the whole empire was divided into uh, many pieces. Okay, so uh, so the northwestern part of uh, Mauryan empire was carried over, taken by the Indo-Greeks, Sakas, Parthian and the Kushanas. The northern part of Mauryan empire was uh, taken over by Sungas and Kanvas. Okay, and the southern part of the Mauryan empire was taken over by the Satavahanas. So after the Mauryan empire was broken up into pieces, we are going to study the further history from the um, from the broken Mauryan empire. So this system is called post Mauryan India. Post means after. So we are going to study about the time period which relates to the after Mauryan period. When the Mauryan empire was broken into pieces, what is the remaining part of history? What happened after that? So we are going to study today. Okay. So now we move into sources. So what are the sources available regarding the period after the Mauryan breakage? Post Mauryan India. Okay, so three important sources are available regarding this time period. One is the archaeological source, other one is coins, and the third one is literary source. So, what are the archaeological sources available regarding post Mauryan India? One is Ayodhya inscription of Danadeva. So, in Ayodhya, there is inscriptions relating to Danadeva belongs to this period. Then Persepolis Nakshirutram inscriptions, Moha, that is Taxila copper plates, Junagadh Girnar inscription, Nasik Prasasti, and inscription of Darius I. All these inscriptions and evidences gives us informations about uh, the post-Mauryan period belong to India. Okay. Uh, then coins. So coins also taken from the underground relating to this post-Mauryan period. So the coins of Satavahanas, coins of cut pieces too, and Roman coins also gives informations regarding the post-Mauryan India. And finally, the literary sources. Literary means written records. So many books were written which gives informations about the post-Mauryan period. So some of the literary books are the Puranas, Gargi Samhita, Harsha Charitra of Banabhatta, Mahabhashya of Patanjali, Brihastata of Gunadhya, Madhyamika Sutra of Nagarjuna, Buddha Charita of Ashwagosha, Malavikagni Mitra of Kalidasa. So these are some of the literary books gives informations about the post-Mauryan age. Foreign notices. Foreigners also written some records giving informations about the post-Mauryan period. Some of them are the Huan Sang. He is a Chinese monk and traveler who came to India to study in Nalanda University. He also uh, gave informations about mentions post-Mauryan Indian age. Okay. Okay, first let's study about the north broken part of India. So already we saw the northern part of Mauryan Empire was taken over by the Sungas and Kanvas. So first it was taken by Sungas, then only it was taken by Kanvas. So who are these Sungas? So before we study about Sungas, we'll start from the portion where we left. So who is the last Mauryan emperor? He was King Brihadatta. Okay, so Brihadatta was the last Mauryan king. So what happened? This king, he was a very weak king. He could not able to control the huge empire. The whole of India, he is the only emperor. And since he is a weaker king, he could not able to control the whole empire. So what happened? His army general, okay, his own army general, his name is Pushyamitra Sunga. He assassinated Brihadatta, that is, he murdered, he killed Brihadatta, and he became the king. See, the army general, okay, his own army general, chief of the army, he took some advantage, and during some time he killed the king and he became the next king. The name of the army general is Pushyamitra Sunga. So after killing the king, he founded the Sunga dynasty. Okay, so initially the capital city was Magadha. Okay, we studied about Magadha, which is located in today's Odisha, isn't it? So after becoming king, he shifted the capital from Magadha to Pataliputra. Pataliputra, which is in today's West Bengal. Okay. So what happened during Pushyamitra's kingdom? He extended his empire in the west direction from Ujjain, including places like Ujjain and Vidisha. These are the places he captured. And he also successfully chased away the Bactrian king Menander. So when the Bactrian king Menander came invaded Sunga dynasty, he successfully chased him away, and he managed to um, send the king away. But only thing is, some part was captured by the king. Some part of his empire, that is Kabul and Sindh, it was taken over by Menander, that is the Bactrian king. Then Pushyamitra, he also thwarted an attack from the Kalinga king Karavela. Thwarted means he stopped. Okay, he chased away the king of Karavela, Kalinga. His name is Karavela. He attacked Pushyamitra, but he thwarted him. Okay, and Pushyamitra Sunga, he was a staunch follower of Vedic religion. Staunch means strong follower. He was a very strong follower of Vedic religion. Okay, Vedic religion is Hinduism. Okay, and also he performed two Ashwamedha Yagnas. Ashwamedha Yagna means sacrificing horse in fire, so that they had a belief, if the king sacrifice a horse in fire, they will attain more strong kingdom. Their kingdom will become more strong at it, and it shows their authority, their strength. Okay, so he made two yagna sacrifices. And after Pushyamitra Sunga, he was followed by his son Agnimitra. Okay, Agnimitra. So Kalidasa, he is a famous poet. He wrote a book called Mala Vikagni Mitra. So in this book, Pushyamitra's son Agnimitra is the king. He is the hero of the book. Okay, he is the hero of the book. Who is the hero? Agnimitra. Who wrote this book? Kalidasa. What is the name of the book? Malavikagni Mitra. And who is Agnimitra? He is son of Pushyamitra Sunga. Okay. So after Agnimitra, his son Vasumitra followed the throne. Okay. And there is in the book Malavikagni Mitra, there is information about the victory of Vasumitra from the Greeks on the banks of river Sindh was written. Okay, so in Malavikagni Mitra, there was informations about the victory of King Vasumitra, who is son of Agni Mitra, who defeated the Greek king on the bank of river Sindh. Okay, so after Vasumitra, the empire, the dynasty, the Sunga dynasty became weaker. Okay, weaker, and it was constantly, it was repeatedly attacked by the Bactrians and the Parthians. Okay, so the Sunga dynasty, it lasted for about 100 years. After 100 years, it slowly started to decline, and the last king of the Sunga dynasty was Devabhuti. Devabhuti was the last king of Sunga dynasty, and he was killed by his own minister, his own general Vasudeva Kanva. Like how we saw in the Mauryan Empire, isn't it? The last Mauryan emperor was killed by his own army general Pushyamitra Sunga. So, in like manner, here also the last king of the Sunga dynasty was also killed by his own general, his own minister Vasudeva Kanva. So, what happened? He established Vasudeva. He established his dynasty called Kanva dynasty in Magadha. Okay. Now let's see some of the important things happened during the Sunga dynasty. Okay, some important points regarding the Sunga period. So the Sunga, they stopped. Okay, they stopped the encroachment of the Bactrian Greeks in place of the Gangetic Valley. So Gangetic Valley is a fertile land near Ganges, river Ganges. So the Bactrian Greeks, they wanted to take over that place, and repeatedly they fighted with Sunga, but the Sunga could able to defeat those Bactrian Greeks, and they saved the Gangetic Valley. This is one achievement. The next one is Pushyamitra Sunga, who is the founder of the Sunga dynasty. He revived the Vedic religious practices. Okay, so the Hindu religion, it was almost declined. It lost its importance. So he promoted. Okay, he revived the Vedic religion. Okay, and he also promoted Vaishnavism, that is worshipping Lord Vishnu. And Sanskrit, the Hindu language, Sanskrit, it was gradually gained importance, and it became the court language. Okay, and even though Pushyamitra Sunga persecuted the Buddhist, he renovated the Buddhist temples located in Sanchi and Barhut, and he improved those Buddhist temples. Okay, so these are some of the informations about the Sunga dynasty. So after Sunga dynasty, the Kanva dynasty came into existence. So this Kanva dynasty, it did not last for a longer period. It lasted only for 45 years, and only 4 kings ruled. Only 4 kings ruled the Kanva dynasty. After 4 kings, it became defeated and declined. What are the 4 kings? The first king is Vasudeva, who was the chief minister of the Sunga dynasty. He killed the last king Devabhuti, and he became the king, and he established the Kanva dynasty. So after Vasudeva, he was followed by his son Bhumi Mitra. Then he was followed by his son Narayana. Then finally, the last king was Susarman. So the last king Susarman was killed by his feudatory chief of Andhra named Simuka. Feudatory means the smaller king, okay, smaller chieftain. They used to pay tax to the bigger king. So the small king, his king, killed Susarman, and he founded the Satavahana dynasty. After killing Susarman, he became the next king. Okay, so with that information, the the happenings regarding the north ended. Now we move on to the south. So the southern part of India was ruled by the Satavahanas. So for a period of 300 to 450 years, the Kushanas and the Satavahanas ruled the northern and southern part of India. So the Kushanas ruled the north part and the Satavahanas ruled the southern part of India. Okay, and who is the founder of Satavahana dynasty? Simuka. Simuka. He was a feudatory. He was a small king who pays tax to the bigger king. So what happened? He killed the king and he became the large king. Okay, he became the bigger king. So he ruled for a period of 23 years. So after 23 years, he was followed by his brother Krishna. So after Simuka, his brother became the king Krishna. Okay, then Krishna, his nephew Satakarni, Gautami Putra Satakarni became the next king. So Krishna and Satakarni, they ruled for 10 years. Krishna ruled for 10 years. After Krishna, his nephew Satakarni ruled for another 10 years. So Satakarni, like his grandfather, he also, not grandfather, like Pushyamitra Sunga, he also sacrificed two horses. That's Ashwamedha Yagna. He sacrifices two horses. Okay. So his mother, Satakarni, Gautami Putra Satakarni's mother name is Gautami Balasri. She published a book called Nasik Prahasti. So in this book, there are informations about his son, how he destroyed the Greeks, Parthians, and the Sakas. Okay, and their territory, their territory included Maharashtra, North Konkan, Berar, Gujarat, Kathiawar, and Malwa. These are some of the places ruled by the Satavahana dynasty. Okay, now let's move on to the next topic. What are the contributions given by the Satavahanas? Contributions means what they gave. What are some things they gave to the kingdom? Okay, so the Satavahana king named Hala, he was a great scholar of Sanskrit. Okay, he was a great Sanskrit scholar. Okay, and there was a school. And there was a school named Kantara School of Sanskrit. Okay, this school was improved. It was progressed, developed well in the Deccan region during the 2nd century BC. Okay, and Hala, he wrote some books. Okay, named Sattasai. The name of the book he wrote was Sattasai. It was written in a Prakrit language. It is a Hindu language. Okay, and it had 700 stanzas of poem. Okay, so this is some of the literature contributions of the Satavahanas. Now we are going to study about the art and architectural contributions of the Satavahanas. Okay, so the Buddhist temple in Amravati, it was structured by these Satavahanas. The Buddhist temple which is found in Amravati. So this temple was constructed by these Satavahana rulers. Then the later Satavahana kings, they issued lead and bronze coins showing the ships and two masts. Okay. Then the Mathura school of sculpture, producing images and life-size statues of Buddhist, Brahminical, and Jain deities. So there is a school established named the Mathura School of Sculpture. So in this school there were images, carved images of Buddhist, Brahminical, and Jain gods and goddesses. Okay. So these are some of the informations regarding the north and southern part of India during the post-Mauryan period. With this we will end up our class, and next class we will study about the Greeks and Parthians. Okay children, we will meet in the next class. See you, bye.